How's it going? I just ordered this paddleboard and it arrived, and I thought it would be fun to show you what you can expect to find in a box when you order a paddleboard online. I want to start out by saying that this is not sponsored content in any way. I paid for this paddleboard with my own money. I don't have any affiliation with Isle. I have a couple of their rigid paddleboards that I bought about 4.5 years ago, and I've enjoyed those boards immensely and have had good customer service interactions with Isle over some parts that were damaged in shipping when I ordered those 4.5 years ago. I assume that their customer service is still good, but so far I haven't had any contact with them about this one. Hopefully everything in it is okay. I have some thoughts I want to share on inflatable stand-up paddleboards, and warning, this is my opinion and, kind of based on what I know about the world, but I don't have any specific information about this topic, just kind of observations I've made. I have a boat inflatable, B-O-T-E, boat inflatable paddleboard. I've paddled a couple of other brands that friends own. I suspect that all inflatable paddleboards are probably made, if not in the same factory, maybe the same couple of factories. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all exactly the same. One company may have different quality standards that they'll accept from the factory that makes it. So you may get a better quality out of the same factory than another brand that maybe has lower standards. Some brands may be taking the existing molds and designs and using inferior or more inexpensive materials to make essentially the same board. So, there's probably a certain amount of you get what you pay for in paddleboards, just like anything else. But I don't see a huge difference in the ones that I've seen and had the opportunity to paddle. So I guess what I'm saying is, while I have had good experience with this particular brand, and I'll let you know what I think about it when I paddle it, you may find a different brand that works just as well for you. And now let's answer the best question that Brad Pitt ever asked. What's in the box? Well, the first thing we find in the box is another box. So there's the first two pieces of the three-piece paddle. Pump. You get an inflatable paddleboard and you use the manual pump. You get a free workout with every paddle. What appears to be a dry bag of some sort. I don't know if it actually is a dry bag, maybe. Patch kit. Oh, nice. Comes with a leash. My boat paddleboard I bought used, but apparently I got everything that came with it, and it didn't come with a leash, and I thought that was a real shortcoming. In my opinion, a leash is a much more important piece of safety equipment for a paddleboard than even a PFD is. If you have a leash and you fall off your board, you're much better off, in my opinion, using the leash to get back to your board than trying to access a PFD, even if you're wearing it. But anyway, comes with a leash. Some user manual stuff, skeg, oh yeah, most important thing, stickers. Gotta have stickers. So, instructions on how to put the skeg on, I think, and a valve wrench. Okay. Not sure what that's about, but we'll see. And this does appear to be a dry bag. That's a nice extra touch. And then there's the backpack that the iSUP comes in. if you're not aware of my other channel, I sew bags for a hobby or more. And my opinion of most of the bags that SUPs come in is that, you know, they're actually, some of them are pretty well designed, but, you know, they're not made to last a lifetime or anything. This seems to be as good as any other that I've seen in terms of its construction. Interesting that the zipper is a 3/4, no, not even 3, well, maybe 3/4. Only opens from here to the bottom over here. It doesn't go all the way down to like clamshell open all the way. I'm not sure if they have a reason for that, but it's got a couple of handles on the sides. That'll be nice for carrying it. I'm not even going to try the backpack straps on. You know, these are all, everyone I've seen comes as a backpack. I've never actually carried my SUP far enough to actually put it on like a backpack. I'm just throwing it in the back of my car or my truck. But it is nice to know if you know, bringing this somewhere, you know, where you have to walk some distance to get to the water. I guess you could do that. You know, you'd have to have the pump in there, and then you'd have to do something with the pump. I don't know. It's nice touch, but I'm not concerned whether or not the backpack straps are comfortable. It probably won't ever be an issue for me. One other thing of interest, if you're one who cares about this kind of stuff, I am not. This board comes in blue and green. I got the green one, but the bag is blue. I guess I mean, if you cared, it would be kind of cool if it matched the board, but I don't care about that myself. But something to note if it's a thing for you. So this strap, getting back to what I was saying about manufacturing, this looks absolutely identical to the one that's on my boat inflatable paddleboard. It's just a strap to hold it compressed. I mean, there's nothing special about it, and there's no reason why they wouldn't be identical, but I'm sure a lot of these things come from the same source. Just was pausing because I think I only saw 2 pieces of what I'm certain should be a 3-piece paddle. So this is what the board looks like. Obviously I'm not going to try to inflate it in my office, so we'll get to that when we get to the water, but I do want to make sure that I'm not missing a... Oh, okay, my bad. It is in here. So there's... Let me take it out. So you have the lower portion of the paddle, and then the upper portion which has the handle already inserted in it. So I was expecting it to be in separate pieces, but no problem. So this paddle is definitely different from the one that came with my other inflatable SUP. It feels, at first blush, a little bit more solid, maybe heavier. I'm almost positive heavier, but it feels good. It's nice to know that it is something different and that it's not exactly identical. I'm going to get the rest of this stuff unwrapped and throw it in the truck and go to some water, and we'll see how it inflates and how it paddles. So I just assembled the pump. There was a couple of pieces that screwed onto the handle. And then this was in the bag with the pump. It says adjustable, red or black, and it shows these 2 gaskets that are supposed to be red or black. There's a white one on the hose and another white one in the bag that this was in. So I have no idea what this is supposed to mean. I'm just going to try it with what's on here. If you've never pumped up an inflatable SUP before, now it looks like it's inflated, but the gauge isn't even registering anything yet. And we need to get it up between 15 and 17 pounds, I think, for this one. So just know, like, if you're inflating one of these, don't get your hopes up. Just because it kind of looks like it's inflated, it's nowhere close. We're gonna be here for a while. This pump and the other pump I have for my other inflatable, and probably all of these, is dual mode. It can pump both on the upstroke and the downstroke, or it can be set to only pump on the downstroke. I like to get it to this point using the double stroke setting and then change it to single, because now that it's inflated to shape, it's going to start getting more and more difficult to put air in. This won't affect the function of the board at all, and it's going to be underwater. You're never going to, well, I guess you would see it when the board is on the roof or in the back of a truck or something. But this decal here started coming off in the bag. This has been in my truck, the back of my truck, for the last couple of days. The other side's fine. I don't know. I don't really care. It's not an issue for me, but if this kind of thing is important to you, it's one thing to note. All right, I've got it all loaded up. Let's see how it paddles. Isle says this is their highest performing inflatable, I think. Let's see how it goes. I do like right away the paddle holder. That's pretty convenient. This is about 1.5 feet longer than my other boards, so we'll see if that makes any difference. Tide is very, very low. Oh, look out, guys. So yeah, we're gonna get muddy. Oh. Yeah, I like the paddle holder. I don't know how long that Velcro is going to hold up, but we'll see. Also hoping that rain stays over there. If you have paddled a rigid paddleboard but have never paddled an inflatable, if you happen to also be a mountain biker, the most helpful analogy I can provide is that an inflatable to me feels like riding a full suspension mountain bike when you're used to a rigid or, you know, a hardtail mountain bike. The first time you get on a really cushy full suspension bike, it might feel a little bit unusual and you may feel like you don't have the same level of control, but once you get used to it, which I think happens pretty quickly, then you don't notice it anymore. And in fact, it might feel weird to go back to a hardtail. That's kind of how I feel about inflatables. There is a bit of bounce to them, fore and aft in particular, but they're very stable side to side. This one as much as any other I've paddled so far. In general, I actually like the paddling experience. I think they are slightly more difficult in the wind because they stick up out of the water a little bit more. I've had some people say that in rougher water they don't like an inflatable as much, but I think it's kind of in a way better because it kind of conforms to the waves a little bit. All right, let's see if we can get this thing going a little faster. I have no way to quantify how fast this board is compared to any other board I've paddled. My impression so far is this feels exactly like every other paddleboard I've ever paddled. Wow, we're not gonna be able to get through there. Normally I paddle under that bridge, but it is dry and I don't feel like getting that muddy, so we'll go around. We have a lot of oyster beds in this area, and I don't know how tough the material this board is made out of is, and how resistant to being sliced open by an oyster it is. But I don't want to find out on the first day. So I was saying about battling in the wind. Again, without having my other board or boards here to test side by side, I can't tell if there's any real difference between this and any other. I'm paddling into a headwind. That's difficult on any board, really. But I don't feel like I'm struggling any harder than what I would expect in this condition on any of my other boards. So. I just stopped for a second because I noticed some menacing clouds in the direction that I came from and have to return to. I wanted to take a look at the radar, but I think we're okay. I can definitely say that this board paddles just as well as any inflatable I've been on, and probably better than some. It's hard to quantify by how much or in what ways, particularly since I don't have any other boards right here. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to compare this board to other boards I have access to. I have a very limited couple of boards that I might be able to get. One thing I have noticed is the upper paddle shaft with the handle is very easy to slide back and forth. I just want to interrupt the video. After I kind of finished recording everything, I contacted Isle, and just as my experience was in the past, the customer service was fantastic. Very quickly I got a response back, and they're sending out a replacement paddle. Like, yeah, it would be great if everything always arrived perfectly, but in the world we live in where, you know, things are manufactured in one place and maybe assembled in another, and, you know, stuff can get missed. I get it. So at least their response to the issue was to quickly rectify it, and I'm happy about that. So anyway, back to the video. It doesn't spin in the shaft because it has a keyway here that engages with a key somewhere in there. That's nice because a spinning handle can be really annoying. So even with as loose as it is, I'm not often applying downward pressure that makes it move. So hopefully it's just a little adjustment. Other than that, so far, I don't hate the paddle. It does feel heavy. I don't know if it's heavier than my other paddles, but I think it is. If you're curious, this is Wiggins Pass in Naples. On my left is Wiggins Pass State Park, and on my right is Barefoot Beach. I still don't, I don't feel like this board is particularly fast, and I don't mean that it's slow. I was trying not to have any expectation about how it was going to perform, but the claim that it's their highest performing inflatable had me hoping a little bit, I think. Oh, check that out. That's an immature little blue heron that hasn't turned completely blue yet. They start out as white, and as they mature, they become this like dark, or kind of a gray blue color. He's still got some white left in him. Anyway, you know, I was trying not to have any expectation, but I don't think I can help myself. And I have a race on Saturday, and I'm not a paddleboard racer. I'm entering the race for fun. It's probably going to be my second last place finish, but it would be nice if the board gave me a slight advantage over my other boards. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it is at least equally maneuverable. It's very comfortable. I have plenty of room for my stuff. I put my backpack on the back tie downs. I'm not sure if I'm getting that in frame. It's kind of nice to, I haven't had a board with tie downs in the back before. It's nice to be able to spread the load around a little bit. I often carry a lot of stuff on my board. I like to bring my freediving gear on my board. I'd like to do some fishing. That little guy. Maybe even some spear fishing from the board. So having a little bit of extra room for gear is nice. There's a speed reference for us. The guy's obviously going at least 30 miles an hour, and I'm keeping up with him. The storm is not moving away as fast as I was hoping it was going to. I have zero concern about getting rained on. I am not fond of lightning, and you just never know with storms around here. This is one of my favorite aspects of paddling, whether it be a stand-up paddleboard or a kayak, canoe, whatever. When you can get out to a place when nobody else is around and the water is calm. Well, obviously I made it back, and yeah, overall pleased with the board. If you're interested in a stand-up paddleboard, inflatables I think are a great option. They definitely make it more convenient to bring a board along when you might want to paddle but you're not sure if you're going to. That's the primary reason why I have an inflatable now, or two inflatables now. There's some inconveniences associated with them, you know, in terms of having to pump them up before you can use them, and also you're really not supposed to just roll it back up and stick it in the bag when you're done. You need to rinse it off and let it thoroughly dry
before you put it back in the bag. So a lot of people may think, oh, because it's an inflatable and I live in a small apartment with no outdoor space, I can use that. I mean, you can, but I don't know where you're going to dry it. Maybe your bathtub. But so, you know, there are definitely some shortcomings to the inflatables, but overall, I like them. And if you're in the market for an inflatable in this price range, I don't have any reason to tell you not to buy the Isle Explorer. It seems like a perfectly good board. And if I learn something more in future experiences with it, I'll be sure to post a video to tell you. If you like this video, clicking the like button really helps. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love it if you would subscribe so I can make more videos for this channel. If you don't know, this is my second channel. You can check out my primary channel if you're interested in sewing. And if you're not interested in sewing, you definitely should check it out because you might become interested in sewing. Thanks for watching.